We are live on Facebook. Noelle, it is all yours. Jazz hands, jazz hands.
Thank you. Hello, Facebook. So, I'm Noelle Upchurch. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are here tonight part of this great, inspirational, motivational, awesome community to talk about and reveal the hashtag that we've been using throughout the week last week. So, we've had Facebook stories, Instagram stories, Facebook posts, all using the hashtag right. And so that comes from a quote by Roy T Bennett: do what is right, not what is easy, nor what is popular. So first off, I'm going to go to the power couple here, Al and Cheryl Lewis. I want to hear Al's take on this. Take it away, Al.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this quote and the hashtag right. So, one thing that I've always been taught is that if you surround yourself with the right people, then you actually will get further in life. You'll get to reach the goals, attain become the person you want to become. So, the first part of the stories that I was using was about number one, the right person in my life. And then, of course, my granddaughter, I used her as well. My world is right when I just see her smile. And then a mentor, one of my mentors, I used him as well because he's the right type of person that I wanted to be in my life. The other part of the quote is, you know what, doing what's right, even not because, I mean, even if it's not easy. Something as far as integrity, one of the definitions of integrity that I just truly, truly treasure is do what is right even when no one is looking. So to use Dr. Martin Luther King's quote, the time is always right to do what is right. And then, because this past week was the anniversary of D-Day invasion, oh my goodness, the entire quote is there. Do what is right, not what is easy nor popular. So it may even come down to freedom for the world. So anyway, that's those are my takeaways and the hashtag right.
Thank you, Al. Go for it, Cheryl.
All right. I thought that this was great. I think you guys are incredible. My takeaways was basically that there are lots of ways to be right. Okay. And a lot of times, to be right and not popular. And I didn't realize that every day I'm really doing a lot of things to do right things. And it's really all about choices. It's about making choices. And that's what stood out for me in all of this, because I posted right thoughts, right foods, right doing the right thing, even when no one was looking. I did one with cleaning in the gym. Okay, and in making the right investment in your health, right relationships with friends, being in the right place so that we can de-stress, and picking the right doctors. It matters. And a lot of times, these kind of decisions, like to eat right and all that, they're not very easy, but they're choices that we make. And it was just doing what was right, for me. So, and everybody has that question that they have to ask themselves, what's right for them? And I felt it provoked that, in the posting, it provoked people to think about that. So thank you guys. I appreciate that challenge.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Great post this week. And Cheryl's our natural health nurse, and that really came through in all of her stories this week. So thank you so much. Next, we have beautiful Dana Taylor Bell. Tell us what this quote and hashtag meant to you.
Well, good evening. Thanks a lot for having me. And so I'm with Al on the integrity portion. That's what I thought of immediately when I saw this quote. And also, doing what's right when no one is watching. Yeah, it's easy. We don't want to make the wrong decisions because it's easy or because they're popular. But I always think of, can I sleep at night? When I make the right decision, I can sleep at night. my conscience is clear. So, you know, you have the little devil on the left side and the angel on the right side. I always want to go with that angel because my conscience is clear when I make the right decision. Back to you, Noel.
I muted my microphone. Thank you, Kiwi. So sorry about that, you guys. But I was saying, Dana, thank you so much. And I know you a little bit and well enough, though, to know that that is true of you. So thank you for sharing that. And Lenore, how are you today?
I'm doing great, everybody, and thank you so much for having me this evening. And I'm going to ditto Al, Cheryl, and Dana. Integrity is so key for me. And for me, it is doing the right thing. And even when it's not popular, for me, I've educated myself all of my life. I got married early at 22, divorced at 28. And from that point, I went back to college. And I was working at the bank. And so I had to make some changes from, you know, hanging out during lunchtime and things of that nature. And I had to take my time. I made a decision to take my time to do my study. So then people started being some kind of way with me, but that was okay. But as I continued to do that, what happened was a year or two later, other people started following suit. So for me, doing the right thing is what's going to be good for me and good for people in my life and in my world to better myself, better other people, because it betters the whole universe. It betters the world. So that's what it means for me. And thank you. And back to you, Noel.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for sharing that about yourself and doing what was right for you and how that led to being an example for other people to, you know, catch up with you and see you were doing good for yourself. Thank you, Lenore. And we've got Kiwi up next talking about #right.
Yes, thank you. And this word and this quote for me really ties into one of the agreements in the book, The 4 Agreements, which is always do your best. I know when I was growing up, my dad always let me off the hook and asked, did you do your best? If you give it 100%, you'll never hear from me. That's what my dad said. But if you don't give it 100% and do your best, that's not the right thing, right? So it's always about doing the right thing for you. And did you give it your best at the end of the day? Did you give it 100% to yourself? And again, that quote, doing what is right isn't always easy. Most of the time, doing the right thing is the hardest thing. Like it's the hardest, it's not the easiest, right? It's usually uncomfortable and it's another step forward that's not as easy, but it's always the right thing at the end of the day. So back to you, Noel.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for sharing that. And I would say that my husband says the same to our son. So thanks for sharing that about because I know that there's a lot of value in that. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we've got Wes. He's going to bring us some cool insight on law of attraction and doing what's right and how that's going to come back to you. Go ahead, Wes.
Well, thanks, Noel. I appreciate the opportunity. I just want to, what is right? I mean, think about it. What is right? Well, I go back to, and a lot of my posts kind of stem from this week. What is right? Well, Dana talks about going to bed at night with a clean conscience. Isn't it about being true to yourself and what your conscience is telling you right or wrong? Integrity, being true to yourself. And sometimes it takes a lot of courage to stand up and be true to yourself, because being true to yourself sometimes takes you away from the crowd or from the group, makes you stand out, to be different, makes you step out of your comfort zone. You know, I talk about the law of attraction, and being true to yourself, you start attracting the right things into your life. And, you know, whether you believe in it or not, it's still there and it's still in effect. So to me, truth and doing what is right, it all gets back to being right with you, because when you're right with you, everything else kind of takes care of itself. Back to you.
Oh, that was awesome. And I even wrote down what you said. Be true to yourself. And thank you so much for sharing that. I can't make it in any way any better. You summed it all up so well right there. Next, Mary Ellen, who's sharing some of her beautiful background scenery with us. Go ahead, Mary Ellen.
Thanks, Noelle. The quote this week, it really came back to me with my parents. My parents were always helping others all the time, and that's how we were just raised, in a very helping and loving environment. So a lot of my posts this week were helping others, trusting others, helping people in our community. I mean, like, even if we're out at the grocery store and somebody drops something, you help them, you go pick it up. You don't just walk by and just let them kind of struggle with it, or even if they didn't notice, And so I just really like, that's the right thing to do, is to help somebody. And so that was what the quote meant to me. It just brought back a lot from my family. So
Awesome.
So thank you.
Awesome, Mary Ellen. And I know from knowing you too a bit how much you have contributed to so many lives and helped so many people. So I can see how that would ring true for you, coming from down from your parents. Next up, we have Kat, who also brings us some great messages along with Mary Ellen. Go ahead, Kat.
Hi. So when I hear this quote, I think a lot about ethics, and you always have to do the right thing, even when no one's looking. Everything that we do, think, and say is a seed, and it is going to come back in a harvest. And do we want to actually see the fruit that's going to come up from what we've planted? So sometimes that requires you to walk alone, because the easy way is not necessarily the right way. And so you have to be willing to walk alone. But if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So that was it.
Awesome, Kat. Awesome. And I know you live by that too. Thank you for sharing. Wanda, with your beautiful flag, tell us what #right in this quote meant for you.
Thank you, Noelle. Thanks everyone for having me here. I guess as everyone said, right is right for us, for you, yourself, doing integrity, being right in integrity. But also I took it a little farther back to actually, is it right with God? Is that, is what we're doing, are we stepping in are we walking in faith with him? Are we walking right with God? And that's it. I mean, every step that we make, every integrity that we have, are we walking with God? So is it right with God? Are we right with God? Thank you, Noelle.
Beautiful. Yes. And he certainly came to my mind seeing some other posts that have been, stories that have been shared throughout the week. I saw that theme in some posts. And so, and I love that. It's just so inspirational. All right, we're going to see Kay. Do you have some volume? You can speak with us tonight and share your thoughts.
Yes, thank you for having me on. My internet keeps coming off on and off, so I hope you can hear me. To me, doing right is definitely to be true to yourself, and asking yourself questions, what's right? There's been many times when I stood up for other people because that was right, even though that was not popular or easy. And the thing that I read relative to self-esteem has to do with setting boundaries, and then you allocate your time for what's right. So it has to do with who you associate with, what time you spend with other people. And I totally agree with what other people have said about integrity is most important. So with your own integrity and speaking your own truth, sort of walk your own talk. Back to you, Noelle.
There you go. Thank you. And you had some beautiful stories this week. Really enjoyed them. All right, we're going to head over to Joe.
Thank you.
Oh, there, I'm on mute now.
Great, we can hear you.
Yeah,
So
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go right ahead on #right.
I guess all the thoughts that everybody was saying earlier, I mean, I've had those thoughts this week, and I've been on the road quite a bit. And as I was, some of my posts were basically about traveling the right road and making the right choices for that, because I was, sometimes you come to a fork in the road, just like you're driving, and you have to be, sometimes you have to have your GPS on, or be in tune with God, or be in tune with somebody else as people, somebody that's guiding you. So that when you have to make those decisions, you really have somebody like a mentor, somebody that can really help you through to make that right choice, whether it be in business, whether it be traveling, in life. Just having the right mentors in your life to help them consult with you to make the good choice. And sometimes it's obvious which way you should go. Sometimes it's you could go either way, and you have to weigh the cons and get a third party, or get somebody that's been down the road to help you make that right decision.
Cool. Very great. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing your take on those throughout the week in the stories. Thank you so much. And I'm going to finish off with my very quick thoughts. I used right in terms of doing the right thing for your health, doing the right thing for, your personal growth, your emotional growth, doing the right thing for love and for other people. And when I think of right, we all have that thing where people have said something to us that just always comes into our mind. And I had a friend, and she would always say, sometimes it's better to be kind than to be right. And so that, we've all been talking about how we make the right choices and do the right thing, and absolutely, and be true to ourselves. And then sometimes, we hold our tongue out of kindness and out of grace, and or do something, and not out of not out of our, being in line with our integrity. I think that speaks to integrity too. And I'm going to close this out. We have another, participant in our stories group, and he's not able to be here with us because he's out doing the right thing, helping people who are, Mary Ellen knows best, who are facing challenges and difficulties with the storms that have been in their area. And so he wanted to share this message on what this quote in the hashtag meant to him. So this is from Dennis, and he says, "I wish I could be with you this evening, but here are my thoughts. They go straight to the one that I am called to try and imitate daily, but fail miserably, Jesus. He was the most loving, giving, and unselfish person to ever walk this earth, with a genuine heart for those in need. He certainly wasn't popular with the religious leaders of the day because he called them out in the name of truth. That certainly was not easy, but maintained a love and compassion for all unconditionally. Yes, I'd like to be a lot more like that." I think he is to us. I think he's doing that right now. So thank you all. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook or the replay. We certainly do enjoy bringing our stories and our reveals to you each week. We'll say goodnight for now. Bye-bye.